Welcome to this transformative journey through some of the most profound words ever written in the history of philosophy. Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. Today, we're diving into the top 10 Stoic quotes from this incredible work that have the potential to change your life. Written by a Roman emperor in the 2nd century, Meditations was never intended for publication. Instead, it served as a personal reflection of his thoughts and struggles, offering us timeless wisdom that is still highly relevant today. Marcus Aurelius was not only a powerful ruler, but also a deeply philosophical man who struggled with the same challenges we face today, dealing with adversity, maintaining mental peace, and striving to live a life of virtue. His thoughts on Stoicism, which emphasized the importance of inner strength, resilience, and rational thinking, continue to inspire millions around the world. In this video, we'll be exploring 10 of his most powerful quotes, each one designed to provoke deep reflection and offer practical wisdom for how to live a better life. Whether you're facing personal struggles, trying to navigate the complexities of modern life, or simply seeking to improve your mental and emotional well-being, these quotes from Meditations will give you the tools to take control of your thoughts, actions, and reactions. Stoic philosophy is centered around one simple truth. We can't control what happens in the world around us, but we can always control how we respond. And through that control, we can find peace, clarity, and strength. So, take a moment to reflect on these words as we go through each of these quotes. If you apply them to your life, you'll find that they not only resonate deeply, but can actually change the way you view the world and how you live each day. Let's get started. Quote 1. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. This quote from Meditations by Marcus Aurelius is a profound reminder that happiness is not something we find outside ourselves. It comes from within. The quality of our thoughts determines how we experience the world, how we react to challenges, and ultimately how we feel about our lives. In today's world, it's easy to get caught up in the idea that happiness depends on external circumstances. A promotion at work, a new relationship, or material possessions. We often think, I'll be happy when, but Marcus Aurelius urges us to shift our focus inward. Happiness is not determined by what happens to us, but by how we choose to interpret and respond to those events. Our thoughts are incredibly powerful. They shape our perception of reality, influence our emotions, and ultimately govern our actions. When we allow negative or destructive thoughts to dominate our minds, we experience stress, anxiety, and dissatisfaction. On the other hand, when we focus on cultivating positive, constructive thoughts, we create a more peaceful and fulfilling life. So, how can we apply this quote to our daily lives? First, we must become aware of our thoughts. Often, we are not conscious of the constant chatter going on in our minds. By practicing mindfulness and paying attention to our internal dialogue, we can identify negative or unhelpful thoughts. From there, we can consciously choose to replace them with more positive, realistic, and Stoic perspectives. For example, when facing a challenging situation, instead of focusing on frustration or fear, we can choose to see it as an opportunity to grow or to practice patience. Additionally, we can make a habit of reframing our thoughts. Instead of saying, I can't handle this, we might reframe it as, this is difficult, but I have the inner strength to get through it. By practicing this kind of mental discipline, we train our minds to respond with resilience and wisdom, rather than stress and negativity. The key takeaway from this quote is that we are in control of our happiness. By focusing on the quality of our thoughts and choosing to cultivate a positive, constructive mindset, we can transform our lives. This isn't to say that challenges and difficulties will disappear, but with the right mental attitude, we can navigate them with calm, clarity, and strength. Quote 2. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This quote speaks to one of the central tenets of Stoicism, the distinction between what we can control and what we cannot. Life is filled with external events, some of which we have no power to change. However, we always have control over one thing, our response. Marcus Aurelius urges us to focus on mastering our internal world rather than attempting to control the external world, which is often beyond our reach. How many times have we found ourselves frustrated by things outside our control? A sudden change at work, an unexpected personal setback, or the behavior of others. It's easy to feel powerless in the face of these circumstances, but Marcus reminds us that the real source of strength lies in our ability to choose how we respond. This realization can be incredibly liberating. When we accept that we cannot control everything that happens around us, we can let go of the unnecessary burden of trying to manage the uncontrollable. Instead, we can focus on what we do have control over, our thoughts, emotions, and actions. This quote teaches us the power of perspective. When we face challenges, we can choose to view them as obstacles or as opportunities for growth. If we face criticism, we can choose to learn from it or let it roll off our backs. By training our minds to focus on what is within our control, we build resilience and inner peace. The key here is to develop mental discipline. We need to remind ourselves daily that we cannot control external events, but we can always control our reaction. By consistently applying this principle, we can face life's ups and downs with greater calm, clarity, and confidence. Quote 3. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. This quote cuts straight to the heart of Stoic philosophy. Virtue is not something to discuss or debate, but something to embody. We often get caught up in conversations about ideal behavior, what a good person is supposed to be, and how to achieve moral excellence. However, Marcus Aurelius urges us to stop debating and start living by the principles we believe in. In today's world, it's easy to get bogged down in intellectual debates or theoretical discussions about virtue and morality. We may spend hours reading books, listening to podcasts, or engaging in conversations about what it means to be a good person. But Marcus reminds us that these discussions are meaningless if we don't put them into practice. Virtue is something we live, not something we talk about. This quote challenges us to take action. It's not enough to know what is good or just. We must actively strive to embody those qualities in our daily lives. Whether it's showing kindness to others, acting with integrity in our work, or facing challenges with courage. True virtue is demonstrated through our actions, not our words. By adopting this mindset, we move beyond intellectualization and start living with purpose. Instead of waiting for the right moment to be virtuous, we recognize that every moment is an opportunity to act in accordance with our values. Whether we're facing a difficult decision at work, interacting with friends or family, or simply going about our daily routines, we can choose to be the kind of person we aspire to be. The true power of this quote lies in its simplicity. Stop talking about being a good person and start being one. By living authentically and striving to be virtuous in every action, we will naturally align ourselves with the Stoic ideal of moral excellence. Quote 4. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. In this quote, Marcus Aurelius emphasizes the profound impact our thoughts have on our character. The mind is like a canvas, and the thoughts we allow to dominate it color our entire being. If we allow negativity, anger, or fear to shape our thoughts, we will become people who embody those emotions. On the other hand, if we cultivate thoughts of peace, gratitude, and wisdom, we will live a life marked by those virtues. This quote is a powerful reminder that our thoughts are not just fleeting things. They have the power to shape our identity and our reality. The more we dwell on negative or unproductive thoughts, the more we reinforce those qualities in ourselves. Conversely, by training ourselves to think with clarity, patience, and compassion, we become more peaceful, resilient, and virtuous individuals. So, how do we apply this wisdom to our daily lives? The first step is to become aware of our thoughts. Often, we go through our days without paying much attention to the mental patterns we fall into. By practicing mindfulness, we can become more conscious of our internal dialogue. Once we become aware, we can start to change the narrative. If we catch ourselves engaging in negative self-talk or complaining about external circumstances, we can consciously shift our focus to more constructive and positive thoughts. This practice of mental discipline is key to living a Stoic life. By carefully choosing the thoughts we entertain, we can consciously shape our character and our life experiences. The more we cultivate positive, virtuous thoughts, the more we will reflect those qualities in our actions and interactions with others. This quote invites us to recognize we are the creators of our own mental landscape. By being mindful of the thoughts we allow to dominate our minds, we can transform our inner world and, in turn, our outer reality. Quote 5. It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live. One of the greatest fears humans face is the fear of death. However, Marcus Aurelius suggests that the true tragedy in life is not death itself, but the fear of living fully. Too many of us waste time waiting for the right moment to begin pursuing our passions, dreams, or ambitions. We hold ourselves back out of fear, often telling ourselves that there's always more time or that we aren't ready yet. Marcus reminds us that life is fleeting, and the greatest mistake we can make is to let it slip away without truly living. In this section, we'll explore how the fear of failure or the uncertainty of life can prevent us from seizing opportunities and living authentically. By confronting the fear of not fully embracing life, we can begin to take bold, intentional steps toward living with purpose and meaning. This quote encourages us to reflect on the ways we might be holding ourselves back and urges us to begin living with intention today. By letting go of the fear of death and embracing the fleeting nature of life, we open ourselves to a life of action, passion, and fulfillment. Quote 6. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. In this quote, Marcus Aurelius offers profound wisdom on how to respond to wrongdoing and betrayal. In our modern world, it's easy to become consumed by anger or the desire for revenge when we are hurt by others. We often feel justified in striking back, thinking that the only way to regain control is by hurting the person who harmed us. But Marcus, ever the Stoic, offers a different perspective. The best way to deal with an injury is not through retaliation, but by choosing to rise above it. Revenge, according to Marcus, is ultimately a reflection of the one who seeks it. It pulls us down to the level of those who have wronged us and perpetuates a cycle of negativity. Instead of seeking to mirror the actions of the one who harmed us, Marcus suggests that we focus on embodying virtues that will elevate us above the situation. This quote asks us to reflect on our responses to conflict, rather than indulging in resentment or anger, which only serve to keep us entangled in the negativity. We can choose to act with grace, integrity, and wisdom. When someone wrongs us, our response can serve as a powerful opportunity for growth. By refusing to engage in the same destructive behavior, we not only rise above the situation, but we also maintain our inner peace and preserve our integrity. In a world where vengeance often feels like the natural response, Marcus Aurelius reminds us that true strength lies in choosing to be better than those who try to drag us down. By practicing forgiveness and refusing to mirror their negativity, we demonstrate the resilience of the Stoic mind. Quote 7. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. One of the most powerful Stoic concepts is the idea that obstacles are not just obstacles, they are opportunities. In this quote, Marcus Aurelius teaches us that the challenges we face in life are not roadblocks, but rather, they are the very things that can propel us forward. In Stoicism, we learn to view difficulty as a stepping stone rather than something to be avoided. When we encounter an obstacle, whether it's a difficult situation, a challenging person, or an internal struggle, it's easy to become frustrated or discouraged. We may feel that it's preventing us from achieving our goals or finding peace. But Marcus flips this perspective on its head. He reminds us that obstacles, instead of stopping us, can become the very catalyst for our growth. What stands in our way has the potential to advance us if we adopt the right mindset. This quote encourages us to embrace adversity. Rather than viewing setbacks as something to overcome, we should see them as opportunities to develop resilience, creativity, and strength. Whether it's a challenging project at work, a difficult relationship, or a personal hardship, these experiences have the potential to teach us valuable lessons and shape us into better versions of ourselves. In this way, Stoicism invites us to transform our thinking when faced with adversity. Instead of complaining or wishing for an easier path, we can ask ourselves, how can I use this obstacle to grow? By reframing our challenges as opportunities, we not only shift our mindset, but we also gain the strength and wisdom to navigate life's trials with grace and courage. Quote 8. If you are pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your own judgment about it. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that our pain, whether emotional or physical, is not caused by external events themselves, but by our judgment of those events. This is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. Our perceptions shape our reality. When something happens that causes us distress, it's not the event itself that is the true source of our pain, but rather the way we choose to interpret it. In a world where we often look for someone or something to blame when we feel hurt, this quote invites us to take responsibility for our reactions. For example, if someone criticizes us or behaves rudely, we might feel upset or angry. But according to Marcus, it's not the criticism that causes the pain. It's our judgment of it. If we choose to view the criticism as an opportunity for growth or feedback, we can remain unaffected. If we interpret it as an attack or an injustice, we become upset. This idea can be incredibly liberating. It means that we have the power to control how we respond to the world around us. By adjusting our perceptions, we can alleviate much of the unnecessary suffering we experience. Instead of reacting impulsively to every external event, we can pause, reflect, and choose a more constructive interpretation. This doesn't mean that difficult or painful events won't occur, but it does mean that we can face them with equanimity, understanding that our peace of mind is not dependent on the external world, but on our internal judgments. Quote 9. Dwell on the beauty of life. Watch the stars and see yourself running with them. This quote from Marcus Aurelius invites us to shift our focus from the mundane worries of daily life to the wonder and beauty of the world around us. So often, we become consumed by our problems, stressing over things that, in the grand scheme of life, are relatively insignificant. Marcus urges us to pause, look around, and appreciate the beauty in even the smallest moments. The metaphor of watching the stars and running with them evokes a sense of connection with the universe, reminding us that we are part of something much larger than ourselves. This simple act of contemplating the beauty of life can help us regain perspective, shift our priorities, and find peace in the present moment. In a world that is constantly moving and demanding more from us, taking the time to stop and appreciate the beauty around us can feel like a radical act. But in Stoic philosophy, this practice is crucial for maintaining mental clarity and emotional balance. By regularly reflecting on the beauty of life, whether through nature, art, or relationships, we cultivate a sense of gratitude and wonder that enriches our daily experience. Marcus Aurelius teaches us that life is fleeting and that true happiness doesn't come from external achievements or possessions, but from appreciating the beauty that already exists within and around us. So, as you go about your day, take a moment to stop, look up at the stars, and remember that you are part of something vast and beautiful. Quote 10. The only way to deal with this life meaningfully is to find your passion and give yourself to it completely. In his final quote, Marcus Aurelius offers an essential piece of advice. To live a meaningful life, we must discover our passion and dedicate ourselves to it. So often, we live our lives in a state of distraction, moving from one task to another without ever truly engaging with what brings us joy or fulfillment. Whether it's our career, relationships, or personal goals, finding what truly excites us is the key to living a life full of purpose. Marcus teaches us that the key to meaning is not external circumstances or achievements, but our internal commitment to something we deeply care about. When we find our passion, whether it's in the work we do, the relationships we build, or the causes we support, we can give our lives direction and purpose. Rather than drifting through life without a sense of intention, we can live each day with focus, passion, and energy. This quote reminds us that life is precious, and in order to truly live it, we must engage fully with the things that matter to us. It's not enough to go through the motions. We must find what brings us alive and pour ourselves into it wholeheartedly. Whether it's creating, teaching, helping others, or any number of passions, embracing what we love allows us to find deep satisfaction and meaning in our lives. So, as you reflect on this final quote from Meditations, ask yourself, what is my passion? How can I dedicate myself more fully to it? By following this advice, you can create a life that is rich with purpose and fulfillment. In the end, the wisdom found in Meditations by Marcus Aurelius serves as a timeless guide to living a life rooted in Stoic principles. Principles that encourage us to live with intention, practice resilience in the face of adversity, and focus on what truly matters. Each of the quotes we've explored throughout this video offers a unique perspective on how we can navigate the challenges and uncertainties of life, and how we can use those challenges to grow and improve. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that our inner peace is not determined by external circumstances, but by our ability to control our thoughts, reactions, and judgments. His teachings urge us to rise above negativity, to view obstacles as opportunities for growth, and to understand that the beauty and meaning of life lie in the way we choose to engage with the world around us. In a world where distractions and demands often pull us in many directions, the Stoic philosophy provides a grounding force, a call to return to what is essential. By reflecting on and applying the quotes and principles shared in Meditations, we can navigate life with greater clarity, purpose, and wisdom. As you go about your day, take the time to reflect on these profound lessons and consider how you can incorporate them into your own life. Whether it's embracing adversity as a path to growth, choosing not to seek revenge, or simply being present and grateful for the beauty of life, these Stoic insights have the power to change the way you approach every aspect of your life. Remember, the power of Meditations by Marcus Aurelius lies not just in its words, but in our ability to apply them in meaningful ways. Embrace the wisdom of the Stoics, and let it guide you to live a more balanced, purposeful, and fulfilled life. If you found this video valuable, make sure to subscribe to the Stoic Philosophy for more insights and lessons from Stoicism that can help you live a life of wisdom, resilience, and tranquility.